Welcome to season 6 of Matt's Garage. Happy New Year 2020. We're starting season 6. It's a bit arbitrary, but really I'm getting into the body work in earnest here. So yeah, hopefully this is the last season and I finish it this season and this year. You can see, oh, there's a lot to get into. Look at my face. I look like a raccoon. What is going on here? How do I even start this? I've done all the suspension work, the chassis outside, all the hard parts like the cage and bumpers are at powder coating. And I'm just getting ready to do the undercoating of, with some Raptor Liner. Hi, welcome to Matt's Garage. We're just gonna call this the season 6 premiere. Yeah, let's just do it. Let's start season 6. It's 2020, new year, new season. And it's sort of a new phase in the Scout. I'm really starting the body work in earnest. So if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. This is my 1972 International Scout 2 that I've had since, I'm sorry, I've used so much stuff in my face and my eyes. So you can see I've got dust mask face big time. I've had this since I was a kid, and I am restoring it for the second time, but the first time doing it right. So let's talk about what's going on here. I don't even know where to start. Yeah, let's start with the obvious, which is this rig. What is this? Well, it's hard to work on your back, especially with the frame in the way. So I decided to make, and that's why frame-off restorations are considered sort of top tier. Rotisserie is the toppest tier, and then frame-off, and then frame-on. I don't have a rotisserie because, like an idiot, I sold mine. It could have been really handy right now, but I don't forget it. I'm not going to go buy another rotisserie. So I went and bought about 80 bucks worth of 1/8 inch wall square tube steel, and I just made this jig that bolts to the body mounts. Let me bring you in for a closer look. You can do this on any vehicle. So just a basic triangle at the bottom, X brace, and then it goes in to, I had some old bushing sleeves in here that I welded on top of this this tubing, and then took some other tubing and made like basically a shackle hanger. And that allowed me to sort of pivot it into place. It self-centers because it's on a pivot. And then down here in the back, because if you just put it on the back, it will hit the rear section there. I made these little chairs to just get it up off the ground. I've taken most of the paint off of the body. I haven't really done the inside yet, and I'm not sure to what extent I'm going to do anything other than sand the inside. I've stripped some of it, but it doesn't seem really worth it, so I may not do it. The way I lift this Scout is I've got one bolt on the back seatbelt holder, and then these seatbelt holders here, and I make a triangle chain with a D-shackle. There's a D-shackle right there. And basically where I put this D-shackle determines how it's balanced, and then to get it in this position I just pulled from here, so it was front pulling. I made some mods. I welded that plate on there for that center bolt so that I don't have to get under here when I take that bolt on and off. So I've stripped pretty much everything. There's obviously little pieces left here and there. And the way I did it was I used an angle grinder with this polycarbonate wheel. I have one here, Harbor Freight Special. These things are great. So it really takes the paint off quickly. It doesn't warm the metal up. I don't work any one section for a long time. I just work it around, then come back around. Sometimes swirl, sometimes X. And after a while it takes everything off, but it makes a horrible mess. And now, okay, let me back way up. These have rubberized undercoating under them, so how did I get that off? So if you've ever tried to take off rubberized undercoating, it's a pain. So what I used was basically just standard razor blades with the little holder, and a scraper, and a scraper, and this, and picks, and I manually scraped everything off. Somebody said, oh, I just put a 0 degree tip on a pressure washer. So I did that. It did nothing. it flaked off like 4 pieces. Somebody else said, go get some nitrogen, some liquid nitrogen. No, not liquid nitrogen. Go get some dry ice, mix it with some rubbing alcohol, put it on top, and then you just hit it with a hammer and the stuff shatters off. Nothing. Did nothing. So I just scraped it off by hand. It took me like a week and a half. That sucked. But it's over now. So that got me to the point where just the paint was exposed. Then I used a polycarbonate disc to take the paint off. And now I'm at the point of doing sort of fine handwork. So there's always little pieces left here and there. I don't mind leaving a little paint or primer, but it's got to be scuffed up and you don't want to feel any ridges basically. So I will go through with different types of sandpaper, or sometimes loose if it's a corner, you can't really get these blocks into there. And I'll just feel around, and when I, like right there, I feel it's great. I'll work it, and then I'll see, now it's still a little bit there. Don't cheat it, you're here, you might as well do it right. And then if it's really stubborn, I'll grab the 60 grit and score it up with the 60 grit. That tends to knock it down pretty good. So, yeah, so like I just basically finished this panel. Problem is, turns out I don't have a rust-free scout. Let's go in for a closer look. This is the body mount here. And you see these holes right here? Yeah, that's rust. So this hole was here, and I just started blowing air through here. I opened these up till I got to good metal. I started blowing air through here and through there, and just, it made the biggest mess. See that brown sort of cloud? That's all the crap that came out of this sheet metal box here. So I drilled another hole here, and then I got worried that maybe I've got the same situation over here. I was blowing air in here, nothing was happening. So then I drilled a hole here and here, and then blew that out, and then same thing. I mean, look at that, just a trail of dirt, rocks, grime, mud. So, oh man, it's like I have eyeliner. I feel like I'm in Queen or something. So yeah, so if you have a Scout, and actually Broncos have similar nooks and crannies like this. I bet most vehicles do, whether it's the rockers or whatever. There will be a cross brace or a sheet metal bent into a box somewhere on your vehicle that's got crap trapped in it. To me, you might as well drill a hole in it and blow that stuff out of there. You don't want that stuff hanging out. What happens is road water gets up into the crevices, it saturates that, and it's like mud, right? So it takes forever to dry out, and that's what gets you on the rust. Nice thing about having a hole is you can then get the Eastwood frame sealer with the sort of long hose nozzle and spray all in there and coat that and convert the rust, which is what I'm gonna do with this. I'm gonna talk about something very important now, right? I'm burying this in the middle of the episode, okay? And I didn't tease it or anything. So you folks who've hung in there, you're gonna get a very special information. There's a scientist, I think the name was van der Waal, all right? And the concept of why epoxy works is based on van der Waal's theory, or whatever you want to call it. And this is something I didn't really understand. See, when you paint, you scuff up the surface because you want to create a mechanical bond to the underlayer, right? So the paint goes in and it grabs the nooks and crannies that you create with your sandpaper. But epoxy isn't like that, okay? Of course the nooks and crannies help because they increase the surface area, but that's not how epoxy sticks. Epoxy actually bonds electrons to the electrons you're spraying it on, okay? It's a molecular bond, which is why it's so sturdy, okay? And for it to work, there cannot be more than a few atoms of thickness between what you're shooting it on and the epoxy. How do I know this? Okay, this is amazing. So I have this cousin. I have a cousin who I grew up with. I love her. She married this great guy who I also consider a cousin, even though we're not related. Might as well be, all right? And he's a rocket scientist. And so I asked the guy, and he's into like Land Rovers and Jeeps and stuff. So I was like, dude, do you know anything about epoxy? He's like, not much. No, I don't really know much. I'm like, he's like, but go ahead and ask. And I was like, do you know how it works? Like how it sticks? And he goes, yeah, it's van der Waals theorem. You got to have a couple, and he explains the electrons. I'm like, oh yeah, you hardly know anything about epoxy. Oh, rocket scientist. So anyway, so that's how epoxy works. Why am I telling you this? Why do you give a darn? You just want to know it works because a lot of guys shoot themselves in the foot because they'll clean their subsurface and then they'll go do something else and then they'll come shoot their epoxy. Well, that's not right because they've done studies that show that after you do your pre-clean, after about an hour, it starts building up a film. And I'll explain this in a minute. It starts building up a film that adds to that atomic thickness between what you're shooting and the epoxy. And the thicker it gets, the weaker the bond and the worse the epoxy will stick. Why does it do that? Okay, well, I don't know the science, but metal is it attracts things, right? All you got to do is take some talcum powder, pow, in your garage, and just go to the closest metal surface and wipe your fingers on it, right? So metal attracts dust and all kinds of stuff from the air. That's why people shoot in paint booths, because anything around is going to come stick to the metal. So when you clean your metal, you have about an hour to shoot your epoxy on, right? After that, it exponentially drops off the effectiveness of your epoxy bond. So that's deep scientific stuff for you painting people. I know half of you are like, I don't even care. That's it. I'm staying true on Matt's Garage, guys. I'm giving you detailed stuff, and this is no fluff. I mean, you see my face. This is not fun, actually. It's fun, but it's not fun. I mean, I'm covered in filth. It's disgusting. I go shower. You should see my pillowcase. Ugh. Anyway, the Mrs. Matt's Garage did not have. When we get the new house, I got to be done because I can't be like just messing up in sheets and stuff. Like that's off limits. I will see you next time on Matt's Garage. Hi, welcome to Matt's Garage. We're gonna